Chers auditeurs,
Dear listeners,
bonjour.
welcome to Comme d'Archi Podcast Season 6.
Saison 6, dans le monde fascinant des architectes.
And in the architectural projects.
Je suis Anne-Charlotte Deponte, passionnée d'architecture et docteur des universités en histoire de l'archi.
I am one of the spokespersons of Anne-Charlotte, who is a PhD in architecture history.
Merci.
Thank you.
D'être avec moi aujourd'hui.
To be with us today.
Et
And
maintenant,
now,
lundi en français, place au talent.
and Wednesday, let's talk projects. In English, of course.
Bienvenue dans Comme d'Archi.
Dear listeners, welcome to this new and final episode of Comme d'Archi for summer 2025. On the theme of short stories and beautiful castles. This is Esther on behalf of Anne-Charlotte. Today, we're taking you to Bourgogne, France, to the Château d'Ancy-le-Franc. Ancy-le-Franc, a classic utopia born in the Tonnerrois region. There is a castle in Bourgogne that is unlike any other. Neither entirely Loire style, nor entirely Italian, nor even strictly French. The Château d'Ancy-le-Franc is a unique work of art. It is a rare architectural object designed at a pivotal moment in the history of architecture, in the middle of the 16th century, when France was still hesitating between the last flamboyant excesses of the Gothic style and the promises of a regular, measured world inspired by rediscovered antiquity. Commissioned by Antoine III de Clermont, a powerful lord of the Tonnerrois region, close to King François I and Diane de Poitiers, Ancy-le-Franc was entrusted to an architect from Italy, Sebastiano Serlio. This choice, far from being anecdotal, set the building on an exceptional trajectory. Serlio was not only an architect, he was also the author of the famous 7 books on architecture, a treatise on architecture that was one of the key vehicles for spreading the principles of the Italian Renaissance in France. Ancy-le-Franc was not a palace, but a 3-dimensional treatise on architecture, a humanist manifesto in stone. A unique composition in the French landscape. The layout of Ancy-le-Franc is a radical departure from medieval castles and those of the early French Renaissance. Gone are the L-shaped and U-shaped layouts, inherited from defensive logic. Here, Serlio proposes a perfect quadrangle, a main building closed in on itself, structured around a square inner courtyard, surrounded on all 4 sides by covered galleries. Each of the facades is rigorously rhythmic, respecting absolute symmetry, breaking with the picturesque asymmetry still in vogue in the 1530s. The castle rises on 2 main levels, crowned by a high French-style roof, typically sloping, made of slate and pierced by dormer windows with sculpted pediments. This deeply local treatment is an intelligent adaptation of the models to the Burgundian climate, proof that Serlio was not content to simply transpose ancient forms, but interpreted them. Each corner of the building is reinforced by a slightly protruding square pavilion, giving the plan visual and functional stability. These pavilions are neither defensive towers nor ornaments. They serve to mark the corners and organize the interior circulation in a very modern spatial logic. An architectural language borrowed from ancient grammar. On the interior facades of the courtyard, Serlio deploys a whole repertoire. The organization of the base is punctuated by a regular system of pilasters supporting a complete entablature in strict accordance with Vitruvian proportions. Rectangular base topped with triangular or curvilinear pediments alternate, and shell niches play with relief, often blind, but in a rhythm of empty and full spaces that evokes Brahmant's facades. The elevation of the facades on the courtyard presents a rhythmic arrangement through the varied layout of the openings, alternating with double-fluted pilasters separated by the famous shell-shaped niche. This is no longer the monotonous repetition of a motif. It is the influence of Bramante at the Belvedere court. The use of two colors, tonnerre stone, light beige, and chassiniel stone, grayer, accentuates the plastic effects of the whole. Serlio painted with stone, so to speak. He uses the color in its mass. The main courtyard, often cited as one of the most beautiful of the French Renaissance, is a work of almost musical balance. Its proportions are harmonious, almost golden. Its rigor evokes Italian cloisters, but here the space is not religious. It is civic, secular, public, reflecting the humanism of the Renaissance. Later additions without betraying the overall unity. Over the centuries, various building projects altered some of the building's balance. The 17th century, with its greater sensitivity to light and comfort, added new windows to some of the facades, breaking up the original rigor of the base. The taste of the 18th century saw the disappearance of some niches whose ornamentation was considered outdated. Yet, the unity of Ancy-le-Franc remains intact. This is because its essence is geometric, and geometry resists changing fashions. A bay, a decoration, or a cornice can be altered, but the overall order still prevails. Such is the power of architecture, worthy of the name. Magnificently preserved interiors, Fontainebleau in mirror image. While the exterior architecture is striking for its rigor, the interiors surprise with their pictorial richness. Ancy-le-Franc is one of the few French castles to have preserved in situ a series of Renaissance painted decorations that are among the most important in the country. The humanist taste is expressed through a profusion of mythological scenes, allegorical representations, and decorative cycles with moral or political significance. The Hall of the Caesars, the Pharsalia Gallery, the Zodiac Room, and the Chamber of Liberal Arts are jewels of mural painting, blending Italian influence and French traditions. The figures are drawn in monochrome, in muted tones, sometimes with gold highlights. The influence of Primaticcio and Niccolò dell'Abate, spearheads of the first school of Fontainebleau, can be seen here. But so too is that of French illuminators, in the style of books of hours, particularly in the grotesques and arabesques that frame the main scenes. These decorations are not anecdotal, they are an integral part of the architecture. They extend its message, transposing into the pictorial realm what the stone expresses in volume, an ideal of order, measure, and beauty, inspired by antiquity. The park, a constantly changing setting. Like many large French residences, Ancy-le-Franc was surrounded by gardens from the outset. However, unlike the architecture, these were profoundly remodeled over the centuries. During the Renaissance, the castle opened onto enclosed, geometric gardens in the spirit of the ancient orti conclusi. In the 17th century, Louvois, the new owner, called on André Le Nôtre, who restructured the estate in the French style. Ground axes, reflecting pools, and the canalization of the Burgundy Canal. In the following century, under the influence of the Enlightenment, the park was transformed into a romantic landscape. Groves were planted, follies were built, and an English-style park was laid out, more conducive to daydreaming than to ostentation. Today, the park is undergoing a contemporary reinterpretation by landscape architect Laure Cognam, who is reshaping the east and west parterres with respect for history, but with a contemporary sensibility. A turbulent history, but an exemplary rebirth. The history of Ancy-le-Franc is one of turmoil. Originally a fiefdom strewn with names, it remained in the hands of the Clermont-Tonnerre family for a long time, in a game of give and take, before becoming the property of the Letellier de Louvois family, then the Mérode family, and finally the Guyot brothers. Transformed, neglected, and sometimes pillaged, it narrowly escaped ruin, but at the end of the 20th century, a new chapter began at the dawn of the 21st century. Paris Investir SAS acquired the estate with the support of the Drac Bourgogne and embarked on a methodical and exemplary restoration program. Today, Ancy-le-Franc is regaining its former glory in a spirit of openness, enhancement, and education. Visitors come not to visit a static museum, but to experience the spirit of the Renaissance. That suspended moment when architecture strove for the ideal and still believed that man could live in harmony with the laws of the world. Ancy-le-Franc is not just a castle. It is a stone utopia, a place where architecture becomes language, where ancient orders dialogue with the Burgundian sky. it is also a message, that of a humanism that believed beauty could make the world a better place, and perhaps listening to its walls, walking through its galleries, we can still hear the faint breath of a reconciled world. It is in this spirit that we conclude our summer series. A great people is one that works for the best, that builds responsibly, that restores, that knows itself and its history, not one that destroys. Dear listeners, see you next week for a new season, the 7th already. With a slightly revamped format, we'll explain everything very soon, and a new episode. Until then, take care. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune in to our previous content on Instagram at Comme d'Archi Podcast. If you like it, make sure to promote the podcast by giving it 5 stars on Apple Podcast and adding a comment, or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.